If a woman is just totally okay with giving out free to somebody that she likes giving it out to, it's kind of stupid for a man to come in and take care of her and have to pay for it and provide for her, and she's giving Pookie free down the street or whenever he wants to.
Oh, well, I don't want you sexually liberated, but also you talking shit when it's your turn on the conversation. Well, women don't do this and women don't do that. Where do you think we getting this practice from?
Let me say this, because this is important. It's a big difference between your 7 and your 37.
And you wouldn't know the difference.
Practice do your ass
and you wouldn't know the difference.
Know how to suck.
And you wouldn't know where that was in her
Don't pay attention to details.
You
should have been around this.
If a woman has sex with 3 men in a year, like say you're talking to a woman for 4 months. But if you're talking to somebody for 4 months, like y'all talking, like think about how much time goes by. You talking to somebody for 6 months.
Situationship.
That went on 6 months. Y'all have. If it don't work out, you ain't like, oh, you because you slept with me and it was only 6 months. So now she got, that's 2 people, let's just say a year. If she started having sex at least at 21 and she 31, what that math talking about?
So I wanted to do a video to elaborate on what I said in this video. There are 2 demographics of women, and it's multiple, but we're just going to say 2 demographics of women. There are the sexually liberated women who don't care about getting married and they just want to do what they want to do and enjoy their lives, right? We as men, including me, embrace that. That's cool. But there's another demographic of women who actually want to settle down, find a husband, and start a family the right way. That is another demographic we men, including me, love. These are 2 different demographics. And the problem with sexual liberation is it can cause young women to think that the 2 demographics are the same, and they're not. One group of women don't care about getting married and most likely will never get married. The other demographic of women does. So if you as a woman are in a demographic of I want to get married, I want to start a family, what you have to be aware of is if you want that, the way you get it is to not be sexually liberated. Because like I said, we as men love both groups, but for 2 different reasons. And that is the actually delineation between the 2. You as a young woman can easily say, well, all these men say they love 304s, so I want to be sexually liberated. But no, there's 2 groups of women that we love for 2 totally different reasons. So once you're cognizant of the fact that it's 2 groups, you now can make a choice and either put yourself over here or put yourself over there, depending on what you want your life to end up being. Because like I said, we men love both for 2 different reasons. And this delineation must be discussed more, because without this particular part of the conversation being added, women all over the country are going to be confused. So what you have to do, just as a young woman, is ask yourself, do I want to find a husband, get married, do things the right way, and then have kids and have the house with a picket fence and be happy? And if that's what I want, I have to exhibit a certain amount of discipline where I won't be in a situation between the age of 20 and 30. You get with this guy, you get with this guy, you get with this guy, this relationship don't work out. Next thing you know, you at double-digit numbers, but in your mind, you were either sexually liberated or you were manipulated in your mind. But the bottom line is you are in charge of your own numbers. So it's up to you, not the men. You can run around making whatever excuse you want to make, but at the end of the day, these are your choices. And 10 years comes around faster than you think. So 10 years worth of dudes, 10 years worth of relationships can easily be 10 years worth of trauma on top of the trauma that you already have from your childhood. So the first thing I would say, make sure to get therapy no matter what. If you're a young woman, sit down with a therapist, because in most of your cases, you were raised by a single mother. Some of y'all weren't. And if you were raised by a single mother, it's almost a guarantee that you were traumatized. But some of you were traumatized and you had both of your parents. So almost irregardless of how you were raised, most likely you were traumatized in some type of way. So the first thing is sit down with a therapist, because there's a possibility that you see sexual liberation as a good thing because you were traumatized. And that's what Rico said in his video. And after all of that soul searching, you still decide to be sexually liberated? Cool. But just understand the repercussions of that is nobody's going to marry you. But it's all up to you, because some of you don't want to get married, and that's okay. But just make sure that you're totally aware of what road you're going down, because once you go down that road, it's a possibility that you can't go back up the road after you went down it. And if that's what you want, cool. But if that's not what you want, you're going to find yourself being really upset, trying to be a victim of circumstance. No, you'll be a victim of the road you went down on your own, which of course is your 10 years worth of decisions. And a perfect example of a woman totally regretting her 10 years of sexual liberation is Brittany Renner.
To my 20-year-old self, I hate how I allowed myself to just be like used up by men. That came from a lack of self-worth. I did not understand my value. And people that I shared my body with, when I think about my list, it's repulsive. But that was an outcome of me discounting my worth.
And my point is this, it's a lot easier to just not do certain things versus trying to undo certain things that you've already done. And with all that being said, shout out to Brittany Renner for actually being open and aware of what her mistakes are and verbalizing those in order to potentially help young women so they can get a better understanding of what they are doing or not doing and why they're doing it or not doing it. Because regardless of what it is that you choose to do, just be aware of why you're doing it. So when it's all said and done and you're 35, you're happy with where your life actually is. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.